In a world where natural disasters are becoming more frequent and unpredictable, the question is no longer if a disaster will strike but when. The Philippines' position in the Pacific Ring of Fire and facing the monsoon season each year is one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world. Earthquakes, typhoons, floods, these are the part of our reality and the challenges they bring cannot be ignored. However, there's something crucial that we must recognize. Disasters don't just happen to us. How we prepare, how we build, and how we act as a community can mean the difference between life and death, safety and destruction. Good day everyone. My name is Russel Paculan uh, from 11ABM1, and today I'm here to speak about something that has affected all of us in one way or another. Disaster preparedness and mitigation. As someone who has experienced the devastation of natural hazard firsthand, particularly here in Marikina, and as someone who has studied the critical measures that can be taken to reduce this risk, I feel it like it's our shared responsibility to understand what we can do individually and collectively to protect our homes, our families, and our livelihoods. Our city, Marikina, is a prime example. We have seen the destruction brought by typhoons Ondoy and Ulysses, but we have also seen how community preparedness and resilience have helped mitigate the impact. Today, I will be discussing three key areas. First, the most common natural hazard we face. Second, the human activities that increase our vulnerability to these hazards. And third, the practical steps we can to strengthen our preparedness and resilience as a community. As we dive as we dive into this topic, I invite you to think about how preparedness and planning can transform our vulnerability into strength and resilience. The Philippines is particularly vulnerable to natural hazard due to its location in the Pacific Ring of Fire and the typhoon belt. Let's look at three of the most common ones. Earthquake. Being situated in the Pacific Ring of Fire, our country is frequently shaken by seismic events. Remember the recent earthquake in Batangas? That was a strong reminder of how quickly the earth can change. For Marikina, which lies near the West Valley Fault, the threat is very real. We've been hearing about the big one for years now, which is why it's critical that our buildings meet safety standards and that we know the drop cover and hold technique. Floods and typhoons. Typhoon Ondoy in 2009 was a wake-up call for Marikina and the rest of the Philippines. With heavy rainfall equivalent to 1 month's work falling in just few hours, Marikina River overflowed, submerging homes and businesses. Sadly, such events are becoming more frequent with climate change, as evidenced again in 2020 with Typhoon Ulysses. Beyond the immediate destruction, floods can bring long-term problems like waterborne diseases, displacement, and economic losses. Tropical cyclones. Typhoons are no stranger to us. On average, 20 typhoons enter the Philippines every year. With such frequency, it's not just about surviving one storm, but being prepared for the next. While natural disasters are inevitable, some of the risks we face are unfortunately worsened by human actions. Let's look at the three key contributors. Improper land use. Despite our awareness of flood-prone areas, some construction still takes place in high-risk zones. In Marikina, for example, the rapid urban development in low-lying areas near the river has led more frequent and severe flooding. When we build without considering environmental risk, we create more vulnerabilities, putting lives at risk. Deforestation. The removal of trees in certain areas for development or agriculture can destabilize slopes and lead to landslide during heavy rains. The 2018 landslide in Naga Cebu, which killed dozens of people, is a tragic example of how deforestation contributes to disaster risk. Without trees to absorb water, heavy rains can trigger mudslides, sweeping away everything in their path. Improper waste management. Poor waste disposal leads to clogged drainage systems, exacerbating floods. Every time it rains heavily, trash blocking waterways causes flooding to worsen, as we've seen in various Metro Manila cities, including Marikina. While efforts have been made to clean our rivers, the problem of solid waste management continues to haunt us during rainy seasons. Practical preparedness and mitigation strategies. So, what can we do? There are three key areas where we can focus our efforts on preparedness and mitigation. First, developing community-based disaster plans. Communities are the first responders during a disaster. It's crucial that local government units, like the ones here in Marikina, collaborate with residents to create disaster management plans. These plans should be comprehensive, covering everything from evacuation routes to communication channels during emergencies. Regular emergency drills can help us be more prepared for the unexpected. Personal preparedness. Preparedness starts at home. Each household should have an emergency kit with basic essentials like food, water, medical supplies, flashlight, and etc. But beyond physical items, we must also be informed, know where the nearest evacuation centers are, and keep updated on weather reports or earthquake warnings. Strengthening infrastructure. Infrastructure plays a huge role in disaster resilience. Encouraging stricter building codes, particularly for earthquake resistance, is essential. In flood-prone areas like Marikina, improved drainage systems, protective barriers, and flood control measures are necessary. The flood walls along Marikina River have made a big difference in recent years, but continued maintenance and expansion are critical. As we reach the end of this discussion, it's clear that the key to reducing the impact of disaster lies in preparation. Now is the time to act, not when the next disaster is knocking on our door. We've seen the devastation this disaster can bring, but we've also seen how communities that prepare can bounce back more quickly. And let's remember that disaster don't discriminate, but preparedness does. The future of Marikina and the rest of our communities depends on our action we take today. Plan ahead, protect your family, and contribute to making our community more resilient. Together, we can build a safer future. In conclusion, the frequency and intensity of natural disaster in the Philippines are undeniable. But by understanding the risks and acknowledging the human factors that make us more vulnerable and actively engaging preparedness and mitigation efforts, we can significantly reduce this risk. Marikina, like many communities across the Philippines, has seen its fair share of disasters. But the resilience of this city shows that recovery is possible with the right preparation and attitude. Let's take the lesson we've learned and apply them proactively. Whether it's ensuring safer construction, managing waste properly, or equipping ourselves with disaster plans. Every step counts.
Thank you, everyone! Thank you, Elmar! Go!